You know that feeling when you learn about a really legendary historical figure,
Mm.
your mind kind of jumps straight to the big stuff,
Yeah,
right?
like the grand castles they conquered, or maybe these mighty fortresses they defended. It's a common picture.
Exactly. But what if a place, one that's really deeply connected to a historical giant, tells a completely different kind of story, one that sort of challenges that whole assumption?
Hmm, interesting angle.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into Shivneri Fort. Now, it's a name you might know, especially if you follow Indian history,
Oh yeah, definitely a well-known name.
but perhaps not quite for the reasons you might think. Our mission here in this deep dive is basically to pull out the key insights from the sources you've shared with us. We want to uncover the, let's say, the true narrative.
And maybe some surprising facts along the way.
Absolutely. Especially about Shivneri Fort and its profound connection to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. We're going to explore a popular idea, maybe a misconception, and reveal something quite powerful.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, so let's set the scene first. Shivneri Fort. It's this majestic hill fort, pretty high up, about 3,000 feet.
Right, located in Junnar. That's in the Pune district of Maharashtra.
And here's the foundational fact, the thing that really anchors its significance. Shivneri Fort is undeniably the birthplace of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
That's the big one.
That's
February 19, 1630.
right. His mother, Jijabai, actually gave birth to him within its walls, and he spent his first few years there as a child.
And it wasn't by accident, was it? His father, Shahaji Raje Bhosale, specifically arranged for her to be there.
Yeah, for safety, for the childbirth itself, it really was the cradle of his life.
Right.
But, and here's the question, for a leader so known for, strategic brilliance, military conquests, you have to wonder, was this fort ever part of his campaigns? Did he control it as an adult?
That's where it gets interesting. Let's dig into what the sources say about that.
Because what's truly intriguing, and maybe a bit counterintuitive for some people, is that despite Shivneri being his birthplace, the sources are really clear. It was not captured by him.
That's precisely the surprising twist, isn't it? If you look at the history, the context.
Go on.
Well, at the time Shivaji was born, Shivneri was under the control of the Ahmadnagar Sultanate.
Okay, so not his family.
No. And later, it fell pretty firmly under Mughal control.
Right.
And what's fascinating, or maybe poignant, is that Shivaji Maharaj, despite that deep personal connection, he never fought for Shivneri. He never recaptured it during his lifetime.
Really? He never even tried.
The sources actually suggest he wasn't even allowed to take control of it later on. Yeah. It remained outside his sphere of direct military action.
Wow. Okay, so given that, I guess that means he couldn't have made any changes to it himself, like strategic upgrades or anything?
You're absolutely right. He made no changes to Shivneri Fort. For much of his adult life, it stayed firmly under Mughal administration.
So where were his efforts focused then?
Well, his strategic efforts, as the sources show us,
Right.
were directed completely elsewhere. He was focused on building his own independent strongholds, creating his power base from scratch, essentially.
Like which ones?
Well, think about places like Rajgad. That was his first capital, a really formidable base.
Right, I know Rajgad.
Or Torna, that was one of his earliest, most significant military conquests, a huge symbolic victory.
Okay.
And then later, of course, Rigad. That became the very heart of his independent kingdom, his Swaraja.
So those were the centers of his power, his innovation, the actual conflict zones?
Exactly. Those are the places he built, fortified, fought for. Shivneri, by contrast, just remained out of his control.
Which raises a really important question then, doesn't it?
It does.
If it wasn't a military objective for him, if he never held it, then what was its actual enduring significance? Why is it so important in the Maratha legacy?
Right. So what does this all mean for us trying to understand this history? If it wasn't a military conquest for him, if he never controlled it, why does Shivneri Fort still hold such a profoundly important place?
Yeah, what's the real story there?
Well, if we try and connect this to the bigger picture, what really stands out is that Shivneri Fort's importance is, you could say, purely symbolic.
Symbolic, okay.
But no less powerful for it. It's deeply significant as his birthplace. That makes it an incredibly emotionally resonant site for millions of people.
I can imagine.
You often see it described, reinforced as the most sacred and symbolic fort in the Maratha legacy.
Sacred and symbolic, not strategic for him.
Precisely. It wasn't about a physical conquest for Shivaji Maharaj. It was about being the birthplace, Not just of the man himself, but also of the dream.
The dream.
The Hindavi Kharaj's dream, that huge, profound vision of self-rule, of an independent Marathi nation.
Ah, I see. So the birthplace of the idea as much as the person.
Exactly. And that distinction between a physical capture and being the origin point of an ideal, that's absolutely crucial to understanding Shivneri's unique place in history.
That makes a lot of sense.
And, it's worth remembering that before Shivaji, and after him too, Shivneri Fort definitely had its own strategic value for others. The Ahmadnagar Sultanate, the Mughals. It's an imposing structure.
Sure, it's a strong fort geographically.
Absolutely. But for Shivaji Maharaj, its significance was something completely different, utterly unique.
And there you have it, Shivneri Fort. It really stands as this powerful reminder, doesn't it, that not all historically significant places are defined by the battles fought there or who conquered them.
Yeah, it challenges that simple view.
For Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, it was the cradle of his life, yes, but also truly the birthplace of his whole vision, his overarching dream, even though it remained, militarily speaking, outside his domain.
And maybe that leaves us with something to think about.
What's that?
Well, consider how sometimes the most profound impact a place can have isn't really about what's fought over there. It's about the idea or the vision or just the individual who is simply born there. What does it really mean for a monumental dream, like Hindavi Swaraja, to be conceived in one specific place, like Shivneri,
Yeah.
but then to be ultimately realized through immense effort, through struggle, through brilliant strategy in entirely different locations, Rajgad, Raigad, all those other forts.
It really makes you rethink what we mean by historical significance, doesn't it? Where the seed is planted versus where the tree actually grows and flourishes.
Precisely. It adds a whole layer of depth to how we look at these historical sites.